Thanks for coming on, guys. I know it's last minute. I know it's like 2 weeks away, but I figured I'd do it now and then get it out of the way because everyone's in testing mode and all that fun stuff. So basically, the format's gonna go. I'm gonna ask the question. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna call on someone, and then everyone can just say their piece, and then goal is to knock this out in an hour. Can we do it?
Okay.
We can do this, right?
Probably, yeah.
Speedrun it.
I mean,
hmm
I know you're a bunch of yappers, all three of you, and I love you.
Oh, for sure.
But we're gonna kill this thing. So, yeah. I mean, like we're just gonna go with it, and then I'm gonna introduce the panel, and then we're just gonna start going. And then if people miss anything, they're gonna have to watch the VOD because they should be here on time. So even though I said it was gonna start in 5 minutes, it's whatever. So.
You can upload the YouTube video; they can watch it there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's what they
If
should
you're
do.
early,
Right?
you're late. If you're 5 minutes early, you're on time.
Yeah, see, that's old man thought right there, and I like that, Mitchell. I like that. All right, so let me pull up my shit because okay, cool. Everyone, thank you for showing up to the Louisville Regional panel thingamajig. I got these fine fellows with me, well decorated, and awesome people in general. I have Barlow Guess on top. I got Zachary Richards, or Mr. Fantastic. And then I got Mitchell Cimino, everyone's favorite champ card, because it is the best champ card. So, basically, I wanted them to come on and give out their thoughts about the upcoming regional. We got some topics. We're going to try to speed run this thing. But I want people to, like, if you want to take time to answer it, go for it. And I'm not too worried about it. And if someone has to leave, they can just bounce, and we can just go without them, whatever. But goal is to get this done in an hour. So,
Easy.
easy peasy, don't worry.
And the split starts now.
Now.
Go.
Oh, here we go. Topic 1. Thoughts on the expansion of the player roster. Zach, start us off.
I think it's generally good for the player base, but I have worries about Sean or whoever's running the tournament taking a big loss on whatever space they paid for the extras.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it's a good thing, but a little worrisome financially, I think.
Sure. Barlow?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I don't really know the back end stuff, so I hope the people on the back end are doing well. For me as a player, super exciting. I love seeing more of my friends. I love competing at a bigger regional. So I think on the player side of things, definitely a positive. On the back end, not something I really have enough knowledge to know if it's how much that's going to affect it.
Mitchell?
Pretty similar, right? Like, I think if the goal of our game is to like grow as a community, I think a lot of it is to do with like location/timing of regionals is why this one was like a lot bigger.
Yeah.
But like most of the time, like things in the like Midwest-ish area or like middle of the country are a lot easier for a lot of people who play to get to. Expanding the like number of people that can play is a great step in showing that like we're growing, right? We're still growing. We have like enough people that for like a competitive like level 3 or whatever I think it's called event.
Yeah.
We can like cap it and then meet expectations.
Sure.
But yeah, I think it's a great step.
Hell yeah. All right. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to be the facilitator here. I am the town hall leader or whatever. So I'm not going to give any explanation. So here we go. Topic 2. Mitchell, with about 2 weeks to go, what should players be focusing in on?
So it's kind of tough to say, right? Like a lot of the time, the answer for like card games or like games in general is it depends, which is really annoying to hear when you're asking an answer or a question with like a straight answer.
Yeah.
But it really does. If you are confident with the character that you're playing, like I'm going to be playing this person, I think you should be focusing on playing games into the field, like figuring out what people think is good, playing games into that, being comfortable with your matchups and role assessment in that. If you are struggling to figure out what you want to be playing, I think if you have like a static like testing group or partner, you should be that person that is playing the field into someone who knows what they're doing so that you can be like, oh, okay, well, this felt pretty good. I'll focus in on this and play this for a couple of games.
Sounds good. Zach?
Alleviate your non-card game stressors. Get your laundry done. Make sure your car has an oil change if you're driving.
Yeah.
Make sure your pets are taken care of. Make sure you spend time with your significant other if they're not coming with you. The card game has card game stuff that you got to take care of, but 2 weeks out, make sure that you're good to go.
Yeah.
And then a week out, figure out your card game stuff.
Yeah, makes sense. Barlow, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Zach is saying. So I'll go a little more specific on the card game front. I think like, regardless of where you're at, whether you're a beginner, whether you're experienced, just focus when you play games. Just actively think and get a little bit better each game. Don't just like passively play the game and just grind reps. Just think about the game a little bit. Level up, whether that's from the very beginning to a little bit higher, or whether you're like mastering your competitive edge. Just like focus on a few things each game and get a little bit better. And that's all any of us can really do.
Yes, very true, because I need to get better so I can be in top 32 so I don't have to worry about world's points. Whoop. Okay, topic 3. Barlow. Any tips for beginners going to their first regional?
I guess my tips for beginners going to their first regional would just be like, set goals around non-performance things.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make your primary goal, I want to get top X. Because no matter how good you are, even if you're not a beginner, you can have bad luck, you can get bad variance, you can get bad matchups. And if you are a beginner, then you've got even more going into it. It's your first time showing up to one of these things. Just make it an event to meet some people, to get to know some people in the community. Obviously, you want to do well, and you might do well, and that would be awesome. But just, I would say, let the card game be just a part of it. The regional is an entire experience, and it's not all about, I must do the best at the card game that I have. The best part is seeing your friends and getting to hang out for a weekend. And the card game is a lot of fun too, but don't make that the whole weekend.
Yeah, true. Zach.
You're gonna notice a theme. I'm gonna say eliminate stress, right? So for a beginner, a large part of your first regional is going to be dealing with a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. If it's your first regional for UniVersus, but you're a previous grinder, semi-pro in a different card game, I've already got a lot of these tools, but I'm going to approach my advice from like I've never played a card game. This is my first major for a card game. Right? Know what you're drinking for the day. Know what you're eating for the day. Know where you're sleeping for the weekend. If you have to take a poop in the middle of the tournament, where is that happening?
The secret bathroom down the hall. Yeah.
On the card game front, right? Like, get reps in, like Barlow was saying, and depending on your deck, commit a lot of the simple stuff to muscle memory if you can. When you're in that like high anxiety moment during your first round, especially, you're gonna fumble with your cards. You're gonna knock a card off the top of your deck. Like, just get some of your like really basic stuff muscle memory, so you don't have to commit mental cycles to thinking about it.
Mitchell.
Piggybacking a little bit on like what Zach said, I try to keep my like backpack for an event. Like, if I'm bringing like a ton of like extra random side stuff to play with people over the weekend, I keep that in like my hotel room or Airbnb or wherever I'm staying, and my backpack just has like, for me personally, I have my deck, my notebook, which is my point that I'll get to in a second, like extra deodorant just in case, because sometimes, you know, I don't want to be the guy that smells bad in a card game tournament, and then, you know, I bring flushable wipes because I don't trust event toilet paper. You'll never catch me lacking.
That's a good strat. I like that.
That's smart.
My actual tips for beginners at their first regional, and this is something you can like obviously continue doing as you like grow and start exceeding at regionals, is I bring a notebook to every match, whether that's to like keep life, but in between games I'll mark like determining factors of like, I won the die roll, I chose to go first, my opponent is playing this character, this symbol. I like write little notes after the games or matches are over. Like, game 1, I lost because I played a line where I checked a 3, and if it was this, it would have been better. And then I use that as like a prompt to be like, okay, was there anything else I could have done differently to fix that? Or maybe that's just unfortunate variance. Or like, I won this game and it was a result of putting him on the back foot for this, or putting him at like a specific breakpoint that this string that I know I always have access to does this amount, and I got him to that number, etc. So it's just kind of similar to what Barlow was saying earlier, where using your play experience in whatever you're doing, whether it be practice or an actual event, as like a good foundation to build on.
Yeah, I remember you.
I piggyback on the notebook thing a little bit.
Go for it, man.
Yeah.
Always use a notebook.
For
I
sure.
know a
Also
lot of
for, like,
The My Hero Calc app is really good for locals, even local championships. At a major, write it down.
Yeah.
My notebook has my name, their name, what character they're playing, what symbol they're playing, and then I have shorthand notation for who went first and who won every game.
And
I can go back to it after the event and tell you almost everything I need to know about what my day was like. And we can, like Mitchell was saying, we can assess that.
I can usually tell by your face. So.
And I can't stress enough just how, like they've been saying, like the notebook and little stuff like that is. I've seen, you know how like sometimes you'll get to the end of the game at locals and you're like, game 2 or game 3. At a regional, you need to know.
Yeah.
And that's like, I've seen that happen. 2 players get to the end of the game and they both went, I think I went first. And it mattered because they were in overtime.
Yeah.
And like, it's little things like that. Things you don't think are going to happen, but then both players are absorbed in the game and they forget little details. And so having the notebook is super helpful.
Yeah, yep.
For sure.
It's definitely, I know Mitchell brought that up on his Take 10 a couple like weeks ago. He said that that's a really good thing for everybody to get in practice is just using that. Topic 4. These topics are going to get longer and longer as we go. The first few were pretty easy. Your thoughts on the Street Fighter 6 meta going into the regional. Mitchell, let's have you start us off on that one.
So, the Street Fighter 6 meta is interesting insofar as like we don't have like for a while leading up to the regional, or like at least for the like pre-regional grind, we didn't have all the cards, or like we didn't know all the cards. And when we do know all the cards, a lot of it is like everyone at initial glance is like, oh, the reversals are going to be really polarizing. Like having a free +0 high block trick is yada yada. Them being able to do multiples of it is whatever. There's just like a lot of little tiny things in these decks that I feel like a lot of people will be playing. There's like a new-ish struggling with studies kind of. There's like a handful of like new characters that are probably viable. There's like a bunch of different like tech pieces like Guardian Angel of Chinatown, like a bunch of random incidental like helpful tools that by virtue of new design are attuned. So like all these characters that in the past were like struggling for, I just need something that can answer this or whatever, now maybe have that, right? So like it's weird knowing that the field could be so wide, but it's also like comforting-ish to know like I'm going to sit it down across from like a Rodan, and by virtue of the attune symbols that they're on, I can guess that they're playing this card, right? Even if it's not like open decklist format, which they'll flip a coin the day of and decide.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but you
No,
know,
it is open deck list.
Okay.
They'll flip a coin and decide how it's open deck
there you
list.
go.
Sure.
That works. Yeah.
yeah. I think it's like it's just a pretty wide format, which is interesting. But also it's like kind of scary in that same regard because this is like the largest regional and it's like a wide format, so you could sit across from anyone playing literally anything.
Yep.
Which is hard for prep, but like it's also an interesting like I can expect X characters in Top Cut. Like I'm sure there will be a handful of these characters that we know are good, but you know, I'm excited to see what actually makes like the playoff round, which I think is probably top 32 at this amount of players, or is it top 16 as playoff?
No, I think it's
Definitely not 32.
It's not 32. I think it's 16.
It's 8.
Is it 8? Are you serious?
It's 8. Okay.
I have to go. It might be 16. I have to go look.
I think
But
it's.
I
think it might be updated to 16. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know the
I think
breakdown
That's
on,
wild.
like what cut is.
But yeah, being like.
I feel like it had to be 257 for 16.
Oh, probably.
Okay.
Barlow, your thoughts on Street Fighter 6?
So is this like the Street Fighter 6 decks themselves
It's
in
that-
the meta, or
it's
the whole meta?
The whole meta game for the most part. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll start with the Street Fighter 6 cards and how I think they're going to change things. I think the most important card people need to be aware of, its affinity, is Drive Parry. I think that card is very, very good. I think if you're playing latent skill in your deck and you don't know it exists, you're going to get absolutely blown out by their cancel from hand. That card shares infinity with no moment of normalcy, so they can moment of normalcy your move, block with a 0 mid, and re-ready moment of normalcy on any symbol. That is a tactic available to anyone. And so I think that card is going to, or should see a lot of play.
Sure.
I don't know if it will see a lot of play.
Yeah.
I think that one is very, very good. I think all the characters are good. I don't know if any of them are like, you need to prep for them. They're all good. They could beat you.
Yeah.
I don't know if you need to devote time to learning about them, aside from having a general idea of what they do. As far as the meta is as a whole, I like it. I like open metas. I like being able to create stuff and not having an exact idea of what is going in. At least for me in an open meta, I like to play a deck with a proactive game plan.
Sure.
I want to have a way to win the game no matter what. And obviously, like, it'll change depending on what you're playing into. But I want a deck that's not reactive when I don't know what the field is going to be. So I like proactivity in metas like this. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Cool.
I think there's a lot of stuff that's viable. I think there's a lot of stuff that's really good. You should play what you like that also is pretty good.
Yeah, for sure, right? Zach?
Yeah, you know, 3-person panel, the last person's usually going to say, I agree with
Yes, I
everyone
know.
else.
That's why I'm trying to mix it up between you guys starting off.
No, it's good. So I agree the meta's super wide. There's an argument of whether the meta's too wide. That's not what we're going to have here. But the proactive game plans make sense. Rodan, I think, has a proactive enough game plan to still be fine as a control deck. I have advocated in the past a lot for not necessarily just testing your deck into the top 3 decks, and testing your deck into whatever bullshit your locals have. Because for round 1, 2, and 3, there's a good chance you're going to face whatever bullshit your locals have.
It's very true, yes.
And if your deck folds to whatever random bullshit you play in round 2, sucks to suck, man. I don't know what to tell you. You could have a 100-0 matchup into Rodan and Porco, but if you can't beat Toga 3 or fucking Shoto 4 or whatever, then, like, sucks to suck.
Mitchell, any follow-up on any of that?
Not necessarily,
Okay,
right? It's
cool.
like, I think in general, the like everyone who is paying attention to like results from like events in between this past regional and now, like the Stark Dark thing, and then what else was there? There was like one other thing.
There was the Boar's
there was, like,
the Boar's hat case.
There's the case event and the webcam event.
Yeah, baby, and the webcam.
Yeah. If people are paying attention, it's like the steady deck that everyone knows is good, that a lot of people like playing is Peak. The deck that is gimmicky and very strong when it works and pretty frequently works is Porco.
Yeah.
And it's like you can just get your face ripped off regardless of how much you prep for it. And if you over index on not dying to Porco, you'll die to people who are playing reasonable human decks.
Yeah.
Or Porco waiting one more turn to try and kill you.
Yeah.
As opposed to going on turn 2.
Yeah.
And then like my only problem in like really open formats like this is when there's like polarizing decks like that, but also the field is pretty open. It's really hard to like have an answer for everything. And when the field is this wide, it sucks to just go into an event and low roll. Like, not every deck should have an answer to everything, right? But like, you should be able to post board have a way to like fix a matchup.
Sure.
But when the format is wide enough, it's like, well, I cannot put any cards in my main deck to hedge for this. And if I take any of these cards out of my side deck, my matchup against whatever else is like less good, right?
Correct.
But I think that wide formats are very cool for innovation, and I'm excited to see at the very least what like winds up happening.
Yeah, I know I've swapped my 10-card sideboard at least 5 times because of I just don't know what to prep for. I'm just like, do it, you know.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's wild. So we'll get into sideboards in a little bit, everybody. So yeah, I know I had a question. Go ahead, Zach. Get something.
Funnily enough, I think like Barlow and Mitchell, you and your team are some of the best innovators in the game, right? And so I'm excited to see what you guys bring. I'm pretty sure Team Final Round is bringing like known bullshit with some tweaks.
Yep, no bullshit, baby, no bullshit.
For what it's worth, and I say this most of the time when it comes up and I'm on like an appearance or like in public, I am not that good at building decks. I am really good at taking something that someone hands me and changing 7 or 8 cards in it and being happy about it.
Yeah.
If I build a deck from the ground up, it's like specifically a combo deck. Like, I have only really ever done that with like Combo Jiro, which I was playing for like 2 years before they printed enough hate that I switched to the better version of the deck. And like Midoriya for a while I was on, but I was too much of a coward. So like, I think in going into a couple of events, people have taken like my combo lists and iterated on them, or just like taken them flat out. But like Wub specifically is probably, in my opinion, the best modern deck builder. And a lot of us are like very grateful to the help that he provides as
Mm.
far as like bouncing ideas off of, or literally digging through the trash on his ultra and being like, I found this that he doesn't want to play anymore. Maybe I can do something.
I've done that multiple
yeah.
times.
That's fair. But yeah, like Barlow and Wub specifically both are
Yeah.
very, very good at like,
Yep.
here's something cool. Like with Barlow's like Gene deck or whatever.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
here's
that
a
deck
niche
was
in the
sick.
meta. Like this card has a banned asset on face. It's gotta be good. And no one
Yeah.
else is playing that character, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
It was wild. Yeah. All right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just stealing decks for this event. The only thing I have built that's like mine is an Air Rodan that plays Storm of Arrows, and it's super cool. But I'm probably not playing that.
yeah.
Not to glaze each other too much, but the Armin deck from the webcam event was very
Oh yeah,
sick.
that was sick.
Oh, that
yeah.
was
Yeah.
that was 1-to-1 ripped from like a combination of Wub and Ryan Levine. I did not make that. I did nothing. There was zero innovation.
So
from me.
what? If anyone gets anything out of this topic, is just rip Wub's list, change 7 cards, and you're probably golden. So that's what.
Yeah.
So.
Actually, if I can do an addendum to my
go
top
for
number
it.
3 tips for new
go
players,
for
search Wub on UBS Ultra.
Very true.
Pocket watch.
Very true. Very true. All right, topic 5. We kind of went on this a little bit in the previous topics. Predictions on characters being represented and how to prepare for them. Like, we know certain known quantities. Like, how can you, like, I guess it's kind of like the meta, blended into the meta question. How do we prepare for known quantities in a way with in a giant open meta, right? Like, it's hard. But let's go with Barlow. Start us off.
I think a good place to start for this, to just say up front, is you won't have all good matchups. It will not happen. Don't try and do that, because you will just make your deck worse trying to cover all your bases. Usually I go into an event with one decently popular deck that I'm like, I really don't want to pair into that. I can win it, but I really don't want to pair into it. And sometimes you pair into it, and sometimes you lose, and sometimes you high roll them and win, and sometimes you never pair into it, right? It totally depends. But don't try and cover every base. Of the stuff I expect to see at this event, Peak will be there. Porco will be there. Those are the 2 big ones I think that are going to show up. Oh, and Rodan. Those 3 are going to show up. Probably the most 3 represented characters would be my guess. Kind of in the next tier, you're going to have Pony. You're going to have Godzilla. You're going to have Ghidorah. You're going to have some flavor of backup, whether that be Hanj 1, whether that be Zeke, whether that be whatever. There's going to be backup decks.
Yeah.
Whether that be Smiling Titan just trying to dome you for 26 with the 9 dip. Like, there's a lot of, like, yes, that deck is very scary.
Yeah, the deck is a deck. Yes, it is.
And so I think you can kind of pick one of those that you're allowed to be not good into. Say, okay, I'm fine with being bad into this matchup. You're going to be naturally good into some of those matchups. I think the important part is finding those pieces that allow you to win the matchups that are close more consistently than they win them.
True.
Because you're going to have bad matchups, you're going to have good matchups. You've got to like find the tools to win those close matchups.
Zach.
I think the most important. So, I agree with Barlow. Peak, Pony, Rodan, Porco. Those are probably the 4 most popular characters. Some mixture hitting 5 to 10. Not necessarily number of represented, but like order of representation.
Sure.
I think the most important thing is to find themes throughout those decks, right? So, Porco and Pony are both attempting to play 1,000,000 attacks at you. They're doing it differently. They are both attempting to play 1,000,000 attacks. How can you disrupt that? Rodan is trying to grind the game out and overwhelm you with advantage. Can you do anything about that? Unyielding destruction decks. There's several of them, right? Like, you can see it out of Rodan, you can see it out of Hanji, you can see it out of Zeke.
I mean, you can
a lot of these
see that.
You can see it out of Mimic.
You can see that.
Mimic should.
Yeah.
Mimic could show up.
Yeah.
Deku 6 could be playing it.
Yeah.
How do you beat unyielding decks writ large? And just thinking about those things, I don't necessarily know that I have all the answers. I'm playing a deck that I'm pretty sure is bad into Rodan, and we're going to spend the next week and a half figuring out if I can find 10 cards to make that better. But if I can't, it's the deck I like the most, so it's what I'm playing anyway.
Hell
right?
yeah.
How to prepare for the best characters? Know your deck. Know what your deck's game plan is, especially if you're playing a proactive one. There's the concept of like level 0, level 1, level 2 thinking and gaming. If you're unsure, just play on level 0. Fuck them. Implement your game plan and do your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like part of what Barlow was saying earlier was like playing a proactive deck in this format is good. And there's also the reason that like it's an old card game adage from Magic. It's red deck wins, right? The format's wide. It's a new pro tour. Who knows what's going on or what's good? There will be 2 red decks in top 8. Who cares? Just play aggro. It's fine. If your deck is really consistent at ripping someone's face off, everyone thinks they have an answer until you jump up and kick them in the chest. So like, here we go. Like, I don't know, man. Like, prove to me that this isn't going to kill you, because if it does, that's great, and you can sign the match slip and talk about your bad beats.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's like, as like good at the game as I am, or like whatever, I so frequently just play aggro decks because I'm like, man, I can't find something I really like.
Sure.
Whatever. Here's a broken 5-hander that draws a million, or whatever. Here's like stat stick turbo. Like, it's fine. You can do it. You can run it. It doesn't make you any like better or worse. Recognizing your angles and like playing correctly with your aggro character is skill expression, regardless of how upset your opponent will be about it if it works.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, pretty similarly to like, again, last person saying same thing as first 2 people.
Yeah.
It's we talked about it earlier. It's like having some amount of like sameness between like what all the decks in the format are doing, regardless of like what character is doing it, is helpful. Like string decks, you side X, Y, or Z for, or like you play into them in this way. Like combo decks, you have to have like some amount of whatever for, and like control decks, you have to have like a way to wall break or a way to consistently, without like jettisoning every card from your hand, staging area, and deck, apply pressure, right? So like, it's just picking your spots, and like, they've already said the characters that I'm expecting to see there, right? So
okay, so they've said known quantities. Off the top of your head, a surprise character that makes tops. You got one?
I could see, like, we talked about it on the Werewolf podcast like a couple episodes ago, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but like Jamie, if you can do the thing, is pretty good.
Oh my
Turns
gosh!
out,
Yes.
if you can turbo into 3 counters, we decided that like giving 2/2 to everything is not insane. Giving 3/3 to everything is very good. So if you can like over the course of a turn and a half get to 3 counters, which is easy enough to do with like himself plus either his attack or the 1A guitar thing.
Oh,
like
yeah.
You can get there in like 2 turn cycles, quote unquote, or like 1.5 turn cycles. Since your first attacking turn gets you to 2, and your second attacking turn, if you have one of those pieces, or just himself, gets you to 3.
Yeah.
3/3 on everything is pretty good. There's like a couple of like cool loops that you can do with him, but he is like a squishy 7-hander. So like,
true.
If he kills people, he kills people, and I'm excited for him because it's very funny to watch. It's very funny to think about in retrospect, a breakdancer playing the guitar. Like,
That's true, yeah. That's very true. Yeah, I got to play him on Friday a bit. On Saturday we played, and oh my gosh, he was so much fun. So yeah.
Yeah, he's sick.
Yeah, he's super sick.
Yeah, that guy shits out stats.
Yeah, it's very cool. He's very cool. This one may take some time, so we're sitting at a good clip. We're about halfway through. We got 6, 7, and 8, and we're halfway through the show, so we're doing really well. Topic 6, tips on sideboarding. Let's start off with Zach.
If I knew how to sideboard, I would have won an event already.
That's fair. Yeah, that's true. But, yeah. That's why you're going first, and then we got. That's why you're going
Makes
first.
You feel any better? I haven't won an event either.
I think like it depends on your deck. If you're not a proactive deck, then you need to be playing generic answers in your main deck with specific answers in your sideboard, and you should probably be playing 3-ish different answers at a 3 of, and maybe a extra copy of something in your main deck as your 10-card sideboard. If you're a proactive deck, you probably should look for whatever your 2 worst matchups are, dedicate 4 or 5 cards to each of those. And go from there. That's how I approach sideboarding. So I've approached sideboarding when I was a Magic grinder. Magic always has 15-card sideboards, so you get a little more flexibility, but it's the same concept. Sideboarding is one of my big weaknesses, but that's how I approach it.
Okay. Mitchell?
a lot of like what I have, because I've played competitive card games before UVS, so like I had a decent amount of the know-how, like bringing in answers to whatever matchup and like hedging slightly in your main deck for what you expect to see more of, and then bringing in like redundant copies of those answers is like always useful. A big tip that I have that I always like, because we have a bunch of new players that just started up within this past year in Michigan, so like something that I've been telling them about as well is like, in the big trap that I fell into in the past was over indexing on stuff, or like putting too many copies of a card in your sideboard. Because if you're sitting there and you're going, I have a fuck awful Porco matchup, I need to play like 4 copies of the Driven by Retribution or whatever, I need to play 4 copies of Kaya's Compassion, I need to play 4 copies of Frantic Rescue. It's like, that's fine, but you're gonna have a really hard time in the moment justifying bringing 4 of those cards into your main deck, and like 8 of those cards even at that point. Like if you over index way too hard, I don't really ever between main and side, unless it's like super important, play 4 ofs. Like if it's a core card that I really want in my deck, it's at 4 already in the main.
Sure.
But like I don't think, like, even if I'm bringing in answers, I don't usually play more than like 3 of it, because like Zach was saying, I try to play like at least 2 types of answers for things. So I don't want to have like 8 copies of an answer in, because then my deck just won't function. I want to have like 6, and by virtue of how our game is played, you will see them, right? Or like they'll at least, you know, you can get to them, or you can mulligan for them or whatever. But definitely just like not over indexing on things is important, and like that gives you the opportunity to play like a handful more like tech pieces. Like if you're like, man, this is a bad matchup, I need to side pretty heavy for it, but if I don't side 4 of this card for this matchup and I side like 3 or 2 of it, then I have space for these 2 1-ofs that like add to my number of cards between main and side on this like specific foundation, or I can play like this tech 1-of whatever. Like,
Barlow, your thoughts?
I think I kind of break cards in my sideboard into 3 categories in my head. I kind of have the good cards that didn't get in my main deck. Like when I'm starting to build a sideboard, maybe not a finished sideboard. There's the good cards that couldn't make it to my main deck. There's the cards that help me in matchups I'm bad in. And then there's the cards that like help me beat decks that are trying to stop me from doing my thing.
Okay.
So there's kind of like 3 piles. There's cards that stop decks from doing their thing. There's cards that help my deck do my thing better against decks that want to stop me. And then there's just like generic good cards that I didn't put in my main board. So I think like the generic good cards, I then go look at those and I'm like, do any of these matter in the meta? So something like this might be like Radiant Visage. I don't think I want to main board that right now. I don't think momentum decks are popular enough. But if I play Annie 3 or Annie 2, Jean 1 or something, I need that card.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to put it in my sideboard because I feel like I have to have it in those matchups. And I could play those. As far as the other 2, you just kind of have to think, like, I don't know a better way to say it than like play games and figure out what works and what doesn't. There was a time I would like sideboard stun hate, but then I'd bring it in the stun matchups and I'm like, honestly, they just push through it. This isn't helping. I'm going to toss it.
Yeah.
Because 3 copies of Elasticity was not staving me from getting stun 18'd or whatever.
Yeah,
right? Like,
for sure.
My board is going sideways anyways, right?
Yeah.
So these I better just kill them more efficiently. I think the most important thing you can do, though, before you go to an event, before you click register, before you have that sideboard locked in, is run through, you don't have to spend a ton of time doing this, run through 5 popular meta matchups. What am I taking out? What am I bringing in? Is this card never coming in even though it's a good card? It shouldn't be in your sideboard. It doesn't matter if it's good if it's not coming in.
True.
Conversely, this card might not be that good, but it's really good against Porco or Peak. It's coming in every time against them. Maybe you want more copies of it. And if you want a sideboard tip for Louisville specifically, take Driven by Retribution. That card's nuts in the format and shouldn't be in your main board probably.
Yeah.
But play Driven by Retribution. That card stops Porco and Pony.
If you have the fire symbol, of course.
good.
You know, you can't just throw it in anybody.
You can't just put it in any deck.
Yeah, that'd be wild. If that card had Infinity, oh my god, we're all in trouble, right? That'd just be, ugh.
It's a little bit of a tangent conversation,
for it.
but I wish our note-taking rules were a little different.
Sure.
In other games, you can write a sideboard plan
Okay.
that you can reference between games.
Mhm.
And I like having the rote okay, it's Porco, I'm going to sideboard in my Driven by Retributions.
Yeah.
But that also trips people up. So I would prefer if we could take notes. That way I can go look at them and be like, his Porco deck is different. I actually need different cards.
Yeah.
Because autopiloting sideboarding can trip you up a lot.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that like I was like cognizant of it when I like started talking about this earlier. I just don't know, like in the past for regionals and stuff like that, I've still done fine, but I've tried to have sideboard plans or like whatever, because like in other games that I've played, that's been like a really big thing. It's like I'm siding this at a 2 of because I can specifically take out these 2 cards in this matchup, and I do this every time. But like in this game, it really does, once again, annoying answer, it depends. So like you were saying, they might be playing a different type of Porco deck. They might not be trying to kill you on 2. They might be trying to build twice and then do it for sure consistently, and like that might change your side pattern. And like a lot of the time, because our sideboards are like pretty narrow, realistically 10 cards isn't that many compared to like other games, you're really siding like, this is an answer for this archetype of a deck, this is an answer for this archetype of a deck, and this protects my stuff, like Barlow was saying. So it's like, I don't know if you need the sideboard plan. It is helpful to have, right? It's like a nice thing to just like, if this was a thing that we could have, that would be great, and it wouldn't like help or harm necessarily overall, but it is good to like have if you want.
Yeah, I think it's a big thing for mental cycles and time, right? So
Sure.
So many of our matches go to time. If you need 3 minutes to decide your sideboard and then do it and shuffle and present and all that,
Oh my god.
that's a lot.
It is.
You're wasting
Right.
6 minutes of a round or whatever doing that.
Sure.
For sure.
Sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree that you can adjust your sideboard on the fly, but honestly, if you're fairly new to sideboarding specifically, don't be afraid to do some like rote hard swaps in certain matchups. Like it won't lead you that astray, and can definitely help you like lower the mental load of everything going on in the match.
So what I'm hearing is Driven by Retribution. It's full send. That's all I'm hearing from you. You just full
That
send
card
it. Right?
is good.
I like that card a lot.
Me too.
That card is
The card's crazy
and
good.
it's-
Yes.
It's not just good into aggro.
Yeah.
Ghidorah pokes you and you go, okay, put your cape in the card pool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's
Why?
wild.
Against the
yeah.
against the backup decks, it's
Yep.
like I'm not allowed to attack Hanji's 9 Titans because of the card text. Your monsters cannot be attached if you want to make it better. But I can sure as fuck put it in your card pool.
Yes, you can.
Like,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
It removes it too, right? So Ghidorah hits you with a true 100, and you're just bye.
Yeah, he
One less
never
for
gets
the
it.
game,
He
one
never
less
gets it
block.
back. Yeah, he never gets it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick.
especially against those like, you know, transform decks where it's like the shift attacks or whatever. It's like, okay, well
Yeah.
that's gone.
Mhm.
Ow! First of all, it hurt.
Yes.
But second of all, like, bye. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to kind of what we kind of alluded to earlier about topic 7, best practices while at the regional. And I have in parentheses food, sleep, personal care. We all kind of talked about it. So let's start off with Mitchell. Any tips on like how people can, like you said earlier, pack snacks, pack deodorant? Like, is it like what are some of the best practices you do? I know you went to it a little bit earlier, but like, you know.
Yeah, that's my big one, is just like the only thing that you will always have with you the entirety of the day should be your backpack and the things in it. So make sure before you like do anything else, like obviously the night before or whenever decklist registration is due, make sure your deck is submitted, make sure your deck is in your backpack, you have your mat, any like water bottles, like snacks, whatever you want. Like I think it is very big to because you're there for like a couple of days, right? In a lot of people's cases, they stay until the day after like day 2 and then fly out in the morning or like whenever.
Yeah.
So like you're there for 3 days. Figure out like what's good to eat around here, or like when do things close? What are like plans with people after the fact? Because if like, you know, if someone has like a bad beat in the last round and doesn't make top cut or like bubbles out, and you don't want to walk up and be like, hey, that sucks, man, do you still want to get pizza? Like establish a plan beforehand.
Sure. Yeah.
Like figure out, hey, this place closes at like 8 or 9, we're gonna get out of the like convention center or wherever at like 8. We should, you know, establish a group, because like this is a very nice community. A lot of people are friends with each other, and it's like these events are a good opportunity to see each other. So it's tough to be like, oh, I want to get dinner with these 5 people, but I was talking to these 2 people when the round ended, and they were like, "Do you have dinner plans?" So now, how do I be like, table for 8?
Yeah.
Does that work? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like trying to mash friend groups together. So like,
Yeah.
maybe even breaking it down. Like, hey, day 1, I'm going to dinner with these people. Day 2, I'm trying to go to dinner with these people. Day 3,
Yeah.
I'm trying to go to dinner with these people. And like having that specific layout so that even if people razz you like, wow, you're gonna go hang out with your cool friends, it's like, well, no, I I segmented this time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like just pre-planning a little bit. Like you don't have to like map out an itinerary before you take off from the tarmac. Like you don't have to think about this shit like 2 weeks out. But like when you get there, be like, okay, cool, I just landed. I'm kind of hungry. What looks good around here? Okay, cool, we can go here. And then when you get back to your hotel, establish your little area, get all of your stuff ready. If you like, if you like a morning shower versus an evening shower, establish that rotation with like your like group. Be like, hey guys, I'm gonna shower in the morning. Is that cool, everyone? Try not to step on anyone's toes, either physically or metaphorically, in terms of like, hey man, if I set my alarm for 7 a.m, are you gonna resent me? But like,
yes, I will.
I mean, I get up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
every day, no matter what. So Zach hates me when he rooms with me. So, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of it is just like having a vague outline
Sure.
of like what you should be doing day to day as far as like covering your personal needs. Like,
Yeah.
I want to be back at my hotel room by this time. I want to be awake to get to the thing or to get like coffee or breakfast in the morning by this time. I want to go to this place that looked good at least once, and I want to see/interact with these people.
Mm-hmm. Barlow.
I think like the most important things that are like must-dos for everyone are eat breakfast the day of the event. Please do it. I don't eat breakfast normally. I eat breakfast the day of the event.
Oh, okay.
Because you need it.
Yeah.
So eat breakfast the day of the event. Get a reasonable amount of sleep. There are some people who will not do this and will still do well. Don't copy them. There are some people who will show up with 4 hours of sleep and top cut, and that's because they're psychos. Don't follow that example. Getting a good night's sleep is the best way to not only perform well, but honestly just to have a good day and to have a lot of energy to hang out with your friends and to play card games all day. It's going to be a very long day. The third thing I think that everyone should do is pack snacks. You're going to be standing in a venue hall probably for 9 hours at least. And like, if you don't eat, you will feel it even if you eat lunch, you'll still feel it by the end of the round. So bring snacks, eat breakfast, get a good night's sleep are like the 3 must-dos for everyone. Aside from that, I think people just need to know their own, what relaxes you. Know what you enjoy. If you want to go yap with your teammate about all the specific lines from your last round because that's what you love to do it. That's awesome. Like, I'll do that all the time. If you need to go take a 10-minute walk around the venue between rounds with no one else near you, go do that. If that's how you relax and decompress to the next round. So I would say just take care of you how you know best. And eat some breakfast, please. Please eat breakfast.
This is stamped by the Barlow himself. Eat breakfast. It's the number one thing you could do.
Set 5, you are stopping for breakfast.
Yeah, there you go. Zach, any following thoughts on this one?
I actually have a few things I'll add.
Okay, cool.
I vehemently agree with breakfast. I was gonna say, if you normally eat breakfast, you should make sure you also eat breakfast at the event. But I think I agree with Barlow. Like, just eat.
Yeah.
Specific stuff, fruit snacks, really effective. Gatorade, really effective. But if you don't have access to multiple Gatorades or whatever, if you're not staying at the venue, one of the like Stanley parables, whatever the cups are that have ice in them,
yeah. Wow.
They stay cold all day.
How bougie of you, Stanley.
Those are really good. Like,
so bougie.
Yeah, like I like fruit snacks a lot. Jacob Messer put me on those.
Yep.
Hydration is just really important. I prefer Gatorade because I tend to drink a lot of soda at food during these events. So the Gatorade helps kind of offset some of that. I agree with what Barlow said. Whatever makes you comfortable. Anecdotally, if I get taco trucked, I go back to my hotel room.
That is facts.
If I'm doing the taco trucking, I go back to my hotel room.
Yeah.
I don't talk with the team between rounds almost ever, unless someone else has had a bad beat and needs like my support.
Yeah.
But for me, I just like want to stay in the zone as much as possible. So knowing your body is really important. I preached a lot earlier in the topics about reducing your mental stresses and all of that and all of the other stuff that's going on around you. Walk up and say hi to people you don't know. Most of them are going to be friendly. Sometimes you're going to get a cold shoulder of like, hey man, I'm not feeling it right now. Nice to meet you, but I'll catch up with you later.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. You can still say hi.
Yeah.
And then know what you're doing for dinner. I'm pretty well known for getting hangry by the end of an event and being like, my car is leaving in 2 minutes.
Oh yes, we know this.
If you want in it, we're fucking gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a fucking seat at this booth at Applebee's with my name on it, and I needed to be there 15
minutes ago.
It's
Hell
game
yeah.
time. Let's go.
There's one thing I do want to add. If you need Excedrin, ibuprofen, Advil, stuff like that, please pack it. Cough drops are a big one too, like throat drops, because you're going to be talking and yelling.
Oh,
Those,
for sure.
I always have that stuff. I'm an old man. I pack a lot of medicine, so I usually have a lot. I usually have that stuff on me. Don't try to get freebies. But yeah, I usually will pass that out to people who will need it. But yeah, so yeah, we're doing well. We got 14 minutes and one topic left, boys. We're crushing
Easy.
this.
Gold splits.
This is
There you
so
go.
easy. I could have had a fourth person on this thing. Topic 8. Your thoughts on the side events in Prize Wall. Who wants to take the first stab at the Prize Wall and your thoughts on the side events and how does... Because I had people ask me, well, how does one prepare for side events? And I'm just like, side events you don't really prepare for. You just take what you want to play and play it, right? You're only playing for wall tickets. It's not really worth, if you want the wall tickets, you play. So go ahead, Mitchell.
I guess I can start. I have somewhat strong feelings on this just in general. So like I have come from like other competitive card games where side events are like for lack of a better term, a real thing, right? Where like you can show up to an event to just grind side events and it's actually worth your time. Or like there's side events that like people play for or like practice for or like are very excited or hype about. And having prize wall tickets helps with that to an extent, provided that the prize wall items are like of value or actually able to be redeemed because they don't run out on day one, which has been a big issue. And my like problem with that has been their response when that grievance is brought up by multiple people, specifically like content creators at a content creator summit, or like just in general, like, hey, this is a grievance that we have where like the most wanted promo sold out within a day and a half, even when you capped it at like X amount of people per, and like they just go, it won't happen again. But like it's happened twice and we're hoping that it doesn't happen again and we can't do anything but take their word for it.
Yeah.
I think as far as like making side events worth it, that is kind of on the back end, I guess, how you can recuperate some of that cost if you go over the venue cap, right? Is like, okay, well, if the side events are worth people entering and our margin on like them entering a side event and what we actually give out is like pretty good for us, we just try to fire more side events because people want these prize wall tickets to get their play sets of whatever, or like can grind and just like immediately post like, hey, play set of airship promo, want this much for it. And it's like, okay, they make money, you make money on the back end, and people are excited to be playing in your side events. In terms of like what is on the wall, I like the idea of higher rarity, like cards that are good. I think they should pick cards that are good. They usually do an okay job at picking like one or two that are playable, and then they have 75 extra of the other two that are left at the end of the weekend. For collectors, depending on like the set, the uncut sheets are good. I think like product as prize wall stuff is probably pretty good as well, depending on like how the margins look on the back end. That's like a realistic way for people who are like maybe borrowing cards from a friend of theirs to be like, okay, well, I didn't do that well in the main event, or I have time, I'll grind some side events. If I can redeem like X amount of tickets for a box, maybe I can get closer to my playset, or maybe I can get like trade bait to give to my friend, this, that, or the other thing. I basically, like, the bottom line is I like what they are doing so far. I wish they were doing it slightly better. And then in terms of like how to prepare for side events, they post the schedule. Sometimes it's hard to find information about like anything in this game, or at least it is for me, but I'm tech illiterate. I'm told it's not a singularly me problem, not the tech illiteracy, but like the trouble finding things.
Fair.
But like there is a schedule for side events posted. You can ask people that know more, or like ask them at the booth. If you know, like in between like day 1 and 2, or like on day 2, if you don't make top cut, there's a big side event that people play in. If they don't make it, then bring something for that, right? Like usually that's retro, and like pack a retro deck just in case. If you don't wind up needing it, fantastic, congratulations on top cut. If you do, you have something fun to do instead of sitting there with your thumb in your ass for like 7 hours. But like if there's a side event that sounds fun for you, sometimes side events that like people think are cool don't fire, right? Like if you're really excited to play Spotlight, whatever your IP is that you really like, try and get other people, or like try and post in like Discords or like on social media and be like, hey, I'd really like to have this event fire. I have something cool for it. If anyone else is interested in bringing a deck, please do so, because I'm going to be at this regional. Or like going around and asking people. It's not necessarily the best idea socially to go ask people who just lost out of the event if they want to come on a side event with you.
True.
If you preempt it and you're like, hey, if people bring this stuff, it'd be cool. That's great. And the ones that are like product, like open a sealed thing, play a whatever, like that's pretty good also for getting product, especially if those tickets can also convert into product. Or into something that you can sell for money to buy product. Yada.
Zach.
I have a lot of thoughts. So I pulled up what's available on the prize wall. Officially. Sean typically adds stuff. And this is a Sean event. So likely there will be additional things. The alt arts are largely not good. They look really good, but military airship is the only reasonably playable
Aren't
card
they all
of the
Albuquerque ones?
I don't know. I think they're the same. Upward disarming swing.
Yeah, they
stoic
are.
into the airship where all paths converge.
Those are Albuquerque ones.
Yeah, airship is playable. The rest of those cards are bad. The double-sized characters people like, but they're like kind of whatever. Uncut sheets are really cool for collectors, so that's cool. Pens and playmats, they're neat, but those are like 1 ticket. So if you signed up early, you get all 3 of your pens or whatever for just signing up early. The side events themselves, because I also pulled this up. Friday side events I think are pretty cool. The Street Fighter Sealed is pretty neat. The timing on them is kind of weird in my opinion. I think there's no shot that Standard is firing an hour after Street Fighter Sealed starts. On Street Fighter deck release day. Like, there's just people that are going to need those cards that are going to play that. And then you have an 8 p.m. My Hero Spotlight. That's not happening.
That's a wild time. That's a wild time.
Crazy.
It's My Hero Spotlight Mini, $15 entry, 3 prize wall tickets, and a promo, and then 2 prize wall tickets per win. I hope Sean sets a minimum on that, because I'm signing up. I'm signing up for my 5 free prize wall tickets when no one else does. I won this tournament that I was the only person who signed up for. My biggest gripe, truthfully, is I don't see the entry promo on the prize wall list.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
It may end up on there, but officially, it's not on the list. And that's one of the things that I probably would use prize wall tickets for, and I think a lot of people would use prize wall tickets for, is just filling out your playset of the participation.
Also, like I said earlier, I don't pay attention to shit, so I didn't realize that they were the same promos as Albuquerque, and now I'm very disappointed.
I agree with Mitch that product is good. Like, I would probably cash in prize wall tickets for retro product, just to fill out retro collections. Coming from Mitch has played other games. Barlow, I don't know your past, but I played Magic for a long time. You would go to SCG cons just to play side events. You grind out 12 hours a day of side events, and you'd come away with thousands of dollars.
Holy
It's actually
shit,
very
really?
profitable.
Wow, that's wild.
Sometimes it would be product that you have to
sure.
sell or stuff
Sure.
you have to trade
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Sometimes you just win cash.
There was
Sometimes
value.
they're just $2,000 cash side events or whatever. Our game is obviously not that big, but I think they're taking a step in the right direction with where we're going for side events and prize wall stuff. We're not there yet. And hopefully these events continue to max out capacity or come close to it, and we can show that having increased prize wall stuff is good, and we should do it, and it'll continue to get better.
Barlow, take us home, buddy.
So for me, side events are usually just, I pull up the list, I open the event page, I pull up the list, and I go, that sounds kind of fun, I'll bring a deck. Usually it's MHA Spotlight, because I want to relive the dream of using 6 electric jolts on my opponent's turn as Amajiki.
You savage.
I just need the rush to return. But for me, the side events are mostly kind of, hey, this format looks a little fun to play. Teams is always my favorite. It's not close.
Yeah.
Teams is the best. Usually, you don't even have to bring an extra deck for teams. You can just roll your main event deck over to teams if you want to. Really easy to compete. Super fun. Great way to... Teams is one of the best way to get to know new people, because a lot of times there'll be 2 people looking for 1. You'll sit down, and side events are usually a more relaxed environment, so you'll get to banter with the other team. So it's a really great environment to get to know people. So I've been loving teams a ton. Yeah, for me, that's kind of where side events are at. They're kind of fun things to do when I wash out of the main event and I need to go just hang out with people, have an activity to socialize over. As far as prize wall goes, I'm the worst person to ask about this. I just hand my prize wall tickets to whoever needs to complete their play set of X promo.
Gotcha.
I do not care about the prize wall until there might be one thing I want. If military airship is there, I will get that because I want that card.
Yeah.
And then
but
there's very little that's the only thing on the prize wall I've seen at all that have been oh, I'm gonna go grab that.
Sure.
The critical role alt arts were beautiful. I didn't get to go to the Denver where those were at. I just paid for them. I handed
they're nice.
Cameron Cardwell his $20 a piece, and
the radiant messages.
Yes,
the radiants
I
are
headhunted those
awesome.
for Keith because he really likes critical role and wasn't at the event. But I Barlow reminding me about teams. That's another thing. But I think it's just so easy to do, not necessarily easy from art licensing or talking to the IP holders or whatever perspective, but just getting art assets that they've approved or whatever as hey, come to this regional, this is the promo there. It's an alternate art of a card that's playable. It's so crazy that they don't just have these are the Albuquerque promos, these are the Louisville promos, these are the Toronto promos, whatever. It blows my mind that there's not new promos for this event. That sucks to hear. But teams specifically is sick. Not to wax poetic, there's a very storied history of teams in this game. It's a lot of old heads will be I'm the team's crusher. I'm so nice at teams. Everyone, I'm an asset. I'm blah blah blah. And there used to be when winning teams would get you something cool, right? You get to be on cardboard. It is, as they say, the coolest prize in gaming, right? So I liked whatever event it was at and it's also very funny to me specifically, Calvin Tahan won the team's belt and now he wears it to everything.
That is facts.
That's fucking sick.
Best bit.
Yes, it is.
Yes, please. And it's not a bit to him, which is why it's the best bit.
Correct.
Please just make teams cool. Make teams have maybe not even necessarily as crazy as a specific promo, but make it worth it for you and your friends to do well in this event, right? That's your extra life. That's your run back. It's we all scrubbed the main event. We're bummed about it. But if we crush teams, we are the Louisville team's champions. We are the whatever team's champions. We get a sick whatever, a belt or a picture on the website or something like that. Yeah. And then honestly, bring back exactly.
Those.
Get, something like that.
Yeah, those
Some
giant cards
thing,
are sick.
First, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then literally do anything to make teams at like the national and above level, which I guess nationals doesn't exist this year, but like
Yeah.
worlds or above level, make it worth it. Like if people show up to worlds, like these are people that have proven that they are good enough at the game to qualify or like have committed super hard to playing, give them an opportunity to run it back at the last event of the season, right?
Yeah.
And like if they do it, put them on something, right?
Sure.
We have decided we're doing that again, and we're committing to getting everyone who's owed stuff on cards. How hard is it really, once we clear the backlog, to be like, hey, here are 3 reasonable people who have played in UVS era. Don't try and design Cold Fusion on an asset, and you can be on it. Like, come on, man. Like, it's like, just do it. It's so sick. Just do it.
Yeah.
And it probably costs you specifically nothing. Like,
Yep.
the company at large.
That's one thing I've always like. I feel like that every time I have someone on the channel, we always talk about teams and how it's the greatest format that we actually have. Like standard is standard, but teams is the best format we have. Period. It just is.
Yeah, teams is
A lot of my favorite memories are from teams. Worlds where I got the edge shot.
Mm-hmm.
We won the die roll against David Toombs and some Australian boys, and I was like, I want David, and I kicked the shit out of him.
Come here! Get over here! And that's awesome. Hell yeah, that's funny. Any other thoughts before we close it out for the night? Any parting thoughts for the X amount of people watching in chat? We got 11 people in chat. What's your parting thoughts, Zachary? I know you got to get on to another show, so go ahead.
I'm waiting on Josh to go live. We'll be
okay, cool.
Parting thoughts. Have a good time. Good time with your friends. As a formerly good player who has not performed well this year, but did in previous years, these are social events. Sometimes you win at the card game, sometimes you don't.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
Yeah. Yep. Mitchell.
For me personally, this is very specific advice that I wish I had a few weeks back when I was stressing a lot about this. If you are at about I can enter a tournament and be somewhat confident that I will make at least top 32-ish bracket of player at this point, if your goal is worlds, you need 200 points. Figure out what the points breakdown is. If you can go to all of the events that are coming up this year, just don't ship it at all 4 of them, and it'll be fine. I was stressing about it. I was like, I need to find something crazy. I need to have one really, really good performance.
Oh, sure.
I, despite playing the all Nick Reagan deck and getting destroyed, somehow still got top 32 at the last event that I went, so I got some amount of points from that. There's local championships to play in. Even if you ship it there, you still get some amount of points. I'm at 66 or something like that. If I top 32 the next 3 events that I'm going to, which are I think Louisville, Toronto, and then
Southeast.
The Southeast is, I'm pretty sure, and like I said, I don't know shit about fuck. I'm pretty sure if I top 32 those 3 events and don't go any further than that, I'll make it to day 2 of Worlds.
Day 2 of Worlds. Sure.
Which would be cool. But I don't stress too much. I had the like Zach was saying, people who used to be good and sometimes are washed, myself included, a lot. I had a season in 2023 when they weren't tracking player points where I got no less than 4th at every event, no less than 5th at every single event in the year, and I entered all of them. And then the year after that, I won the Wish tournament and then shit the bed for an entire year until Nats, right? It goes in waves. Sometimes it's not your day, but as long as you're going there to have fun and with your friends and to potentially learn or grow, it's a worthwhile experience.
Hell yeah. Barlow, take us home, baby. We are the last final thought. Here we go.
So I guess I think a good way to phrase this is 99% of us, me included, these folks included, are not going to do as well as we want. And that's okay. There's so much to a regional outside of how you perform in the main event. And if you're not there for the main event, then I would say you're already in a place of like Zach said, just have fun. It's awesome to win. Winning is fun for a lot of us, and that's okay too. So if you do great, congratulations. Awesome. That's amazing. But yeah, most of us aren't going to do as well as we want, and that's okay. And we're all here to play the card game and have fun.
Hell yeah. That's what I say. Just have fun, man. That's what I've kind of adopted the last like month or so. Is like I was stressing. Like I always like I've always been I'm going for 50 points. I'm just gonna go to day one because all these other people are grinding for day two, and day one's gonna be super easy because everyone's gonna be in day two already, and they can't play in day one. Whoop whoop. No, I'm not. I grinded last year as hard as hell to get into worlds on points, and this time I'm not even gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna have fun. So. And after this regional, I get to play Jamie at locals, and then try to get drunk every time. That's
You play
it.
Jamie at the
Wow.
regional.
I could. I'm tempted to, man. I'm tempted to. Last Saturday, I'm tempted. That character is wild. So, but
I still want to play Amir. Y'all are gonna have to actively convince me,
not to
like
play Ymir.
Friday night,
Oh
not
my
to be
God.
playing Amir.
Oh no. But all
Maybe
right.
I'll try and convince you to play Ymir.
That character's
The
still a
devil-
war
the devil
crime,
may
and
angel.
if you haven't played against it lately,
Character's nuts. She's still crazy. She still got it. She never lost her groove. So, so again, gentlemen, thank you. Thanks for coming on, hanging out for an hour or so, chit-chatting and yapping about the Louisville Regional. I know, I guess, as Mitchell, where can people find you on the internet? I know you're on a podcast. You got a channel.
Yeah.
Shout outs.
Shout outs. I'm on the Werewub podcast. Me, Ryan Levine, Calvin Harrigal, aka Wub, and Travis Tangerman. We talk every 2 weeks, hopefully, about what has happened in the past 2 weeks in the game, our thoughts on random stuff, and sometimes we get like reveals to do on the podcast. This time around, the MGLA YouTube channel where the podcast is posted has that reveal, and then Ryan has another reveal on the JRB podcast channel. That's his main channel that crosses over into Yu-Gi-Oh content and stuff as well. I personally have a channel that I usually I don't post content like weekly or anything like that. I usually just do deck profiles at events because I like that type of content. I think it's a very good niche to be in that other card games do that we did not prior. Just like talking to someone fresh off of like, hey, you did the thing, congrats, give me a breakdown of what went on and why your deck was good or whatever, so people can have insight like that. And then I do like other videos sometimes when they send me stuff. That is just my first and last name, Mitchell Cimino, on YouTube. And outside of that, I plan on going to every North American event this year. So if you see me at those, please don't ask me for a copy of my character card. I don't have any more, but I will sign yours. That's me.
Technically, you got one. You showed one off at the start of the show.
I do. I actually also just am a liar. I have this many left. That's not that many. I wanted to pay for everyone's dinner, so I did sell about half of what I got sent to Sean.
Sure.
And bought everyone dinner. After
Nice.
But yeah.
Barlow, can anyone find you anywhere other than on Discord?
I'm Apprentice on the Discord, so feel free to reach out. I won't bite, I promise. If you have any questions or just want to jam some games and practice, I'm always looking for people to play with. Outside of that, I don't have any really social media going on, but however, over at twitch.tv/Tamron Cardwell, Tam Cardwell, starting tomorrow night, I will be doing top 8 with Tam every week. So,
oh
if you
wow!
want to check that out, that'll
congratulations!
Be happening every Tuesday.
That's awesome.
You finally kicked Barrett out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I defeated Barrett.
Now you get to witness Tam's theme decks.
Yeah.
And kick the shit out of him and watch him tilt out off the screen at you instead of Barrett.
I don't know if he's posted our week 1 like draft pools yet, but
I saw it.
I think his is much better than mine, but
That's crazy.
I have Kurama.
You are like 4-0ing him.
I guess also, real quick, speaking of Tam, I don't know when it'll be posted / edited, but me, Tam, Kevin, and Paul did a really cool box battle that Tam set up, where he had an AOT3 boss battle that he designed himself.
Oh, cool.
He opened a box of AOT3 on video. We all basically built 4 sealed decks from his box pull, and then used those decks to fight the boss. That was a really, really sick experience. I like that idea a lot, and I know he plans on expanding on it. that video series, I think it's a 3-part series, should be out eventually.
Cool.
Unsure when.
The
but
last time
check out
him and
that on Tim's.
when he was in town for the case event, we did that at the house that night. We did the boss battle. That thing is sick. That is
It's
a
very
lot
cool,
of
yeah.
fun. That is a lot of fun.
He was in chat saying he's editing it. But I know last time I talked to him about it, he said he was like 10 hours into editing the first part.
Oh my god. No, I'm way
and
past
then
those
I'm-
days. No way, man.
I'm pretty sure I've been conscripted into doing that in Louisville because of how much shit I've talked about boss battles.
Okay,
so.
okay. Zachary, where can people find you?
Discord, JCAce517, and twitch.tv/Final Round Game Shop here in whenever you raid into us.
Yeah, I'm gonna go raid. I'm gonna raid right into it. Yeah. So again, thanks guys for coming on. This will be on YouTube later in the week on Friday, because that's when I always do my if in case you missed it posts. So again, thank you, gentlemen. We'll see you in Louisville. See you at Louisville, everyone. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget, if you want any tips, don't ask me. Ask these guys. So yeah. But anywho, bye. We'll see you later. We're gonna go raid now.
Everybody.
Bye, everyone.
care.
I gotta find the correct buttons first. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. We're raiding. Where is he?
Okay.
Where are you at, Josh? Where is that?
I see
There
him.
it is.
I
Boom.
see him live.
He's live.
I see, yeah.
I said
it.
I said to scroll down. That's all.
Okay.
All
I gotta
right.
go join that call. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go
All right,
join that.
fair
I'm
enough.
gonna go hang out. Bye, guys.
it's fun, boys. See you later.
Yep.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no
take it
problem.
easy.
Anytime. Anytime.
Thanks for having us.
See you, gentlemen.